Now we're going to have this stroll through Villa d'Este with Barbara, that she's the boss of Tivoli, and we're going to visit these gardens with these 500 fountains, with some of the fountains that might be, the reason why these Cardinal would never be able to become a pope. And here, now I'll pass, to Barbara.
Thank you, Sal. Yes, guys, we are in Villa d'Este, the Tivoli Gardens, also known, and this is the avenue of 100 fountains. The villa was built between 1550 and 1577 by the famous architect Piero Ligorio. Down there you can see the entrance of the water into the garden. The beautiful fountain, also known as the Fountain of Ovato or Fountain of Tivoli, actually hides in its back a basin that collects the water from a channel that connects the river of Tivoli, Aniene River, with the villa. So, this is the entrance for the water. We are in the first level of the three-level gardens. All the fountains are connected with each other, led by a system of communicating pipes. The water enters, from the fountain I was showing you, feeds the fountain of the avenue of 100 fountains, goes to the Rometta fountain. And then this water flows down to the second level to feed the fountains on the second level, till the third level, till the last fountain of the garden, and to go back to the river, but at the bottom of the garden. It means that, the water is always new, always direct. And all the jets of water that we are going to see are natural, no pumps, no artificial energy. The fountains are very, very interesting, and this is the thing that Salvatore was telling you. By this fountain, you can imagine that the Cardinal loved women, and he was able to become like the best friend of the lover of the French King Francis I. And so he became able to be the man that took care of the business between the Roman Catholic Church and France. This fountain is very interesting. Take a look at this. Please, Alex. Look. They are connected. It's very interesting. Yeah. No. The water is from the river. You can't drink there, okay? Please, Alex. Be serious. Down here you got another beautiful fountain that is known as the Dragon Fountain. Under the mask, under the green mask, are 4 big dragons. The dragon was the symbol of the family Boncompagni, from which came the Pope Gregory XIII, big friend of Ippolito d'Este. We know that when Ippolito was at the end of his life in 1572, in September, the Pope decided to come and visit. Now, the Cardinal was very sick, was at the end of his life, in December he's going to die, but was so excited by the visit of the Pope that decided to order to his workers to create 4 dragons in the central fountain to give as a gift the fountain, symbolic gift, the fountain to the Pope. So the next day when the Pope arrived, he had his own fountain in Villa d'Este. The dragon, symbol of the family. Down there, if you look straight in front of us, you can see the central axis of the garden, the cut into the garden. Actually, at the end is a gate that used to be the original entrance at the villa. The guests of the Cardinal used to come from the bottom of the garden up to the residence. The residence got 3 floors. The central floor apartment was reserved for the Cardinal, the lower apartment was for the guests, the top floor for the servants. Consider this place as a summer residence. The Cardinal used to come from July to October. Why? Because to be in Rome was really not nice, because it was too hot. But thanks to all these fountains, the air here is always cool and nice. So from July to October, perfect place to stay. Even if you come to Rome in full summer, you can enjoy the garden of Villa d'Este after 500 years, just like, originally. Now we are walking to the Fountain of Rome. So symbolically, the street that connects the Fountain of Tivoli to the Fountain of Rome symbolizes the Tiburtina roads, one of the 29 consular roads of the ancient times. And if you look in the floor, you can see fragments of beautiful, colorful marbles. They're all from the Hadrian's villa. The villa built in Tivoli by the Emperor Hadrian. means that Ligorio, the architect of Villa d'Este, in 1500 made excavations down at the entrance villa and brought here lots of fragments of these beautiful imperial marbles. But not only the marbles, also beautiful statues. Think that originally the garden of Villa d'Este was a kind of open-air museum where the friends of the Cardinal could enjoy the collection of Ippolito. The statue in front of us with the spear and the helmet is the goddess Roma, but this was made in 1500, so very interesting to imagine in 1500 a garden that had ancient Roman statues from the 1st and 2nd century mixed with modern statues, contemporary statues. So it's like today when you have the mix between, ancient and modern art that sometimes scandalize so much. But in 1500 they were absolutely innovative, in the conception of art and beauty. And I tell you, it worked so well. This became the model for all the gardens of Europe. All the rich people that enjoy the parties given by the Cardinal from all the different countries of Europe, once they came back, they started to build gardens very similar. That's why in 2001, Villa d'Este became a human heritage site, so it's in the list of UNESCO sites. So the fountain is named Rometta, the small Roman fountain. If you look on the left in the back of the fountain, you can see the reproduction in miniature of ancient ruins, temples, arches, little buildings. Well, consider that originally these reproductions went all the way around the fountain, creating a kind of scenery. Because in the summertime, lighted with torches, this became the theater of the Cardinal that really loved to perform as an actor together with his friends. Unfortunately, during the World War II in 1944, Tivoli was bombed. Okay, a part of the fountain is gone because of a bomb, but lots of things are still visible, like the goddess Roma I was showing you before, the statue of the wolf with the twin brothers Romulus and Remus drinking milk from the wolf, and then this both that symbolize the Roman Catholic Church, but also the island of Tiberina on the Tiber River. And if you look behind the waterfall on the left side, down there, you can see a man, hidden by the water. Is the personification of the river Tiber in the back of the water, if you look. So everything speaks about Rome. And the fountain is one of the most beautiful in the garden. Now we're going to abandon the first level of the 3-level gardens to reach the second. If you like to follow me, I'll take you to see another interesting fountain. We make some steps, but before, from this balcony, you can see something, even if we are against the sun, you can see 2 fleur-de-lis, and then in the middle, an eagle. The eagle was the symbol of the family d'Este, and if you notice, they are everywhere. Eagles and fleur-de-lis. The fleur-de-lis is the symbol of France. As I told you, the French king, Francis I, and the Cardinal Ippolito d'Este became like best friends, and this was very important for the Pope. So fleur-de-lis and eagles are everywhere to remind us this important friendship. The symbols are very important. You know what? Sometimes we lost the memory about the symbolism, but sometimes we're able to, interpret them, and it's very, very interesting. The flow of the water that enter, in the villa, now it's about 600 liters per second. You can see that some of the fountains are not completely working because to make them all work, we need a flow of 1200 liters per second. And unfortunately, the water needs to be purified to enter in the garden because the river is polluted. So the modern purified is not able to purify enough water to make them all work. But anyway, they are working on this. So maybe in the next years, we're going to have new fountains working again. Look at the beautiful this one. This is the fountain of the owl. Can you see the owl? No, it's there. If you come closer, I'll show you. Got big eyes and is looking at you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now you can see like branches, you can see little birds, and then the owl. This is just a fake reproduction, but originally the fountain was a musical fountain. Instead of the branches in wood, you got to imagine branches made in bronze. The little birds were made in bronze as well, and inside they were made like flutes. So the water running inside the branches was able to push air in the beaks of the birds, and the birds start to sing. So a masterpiece of hydraulic engineering and music. Then three male figures, okay, throw water at the second level of the fountain. The water was able to start another mechanism that let appear from the back the owl. At the scream of the owl, all the birds in silence because they were afraid of it. So it was absolutely a mechanism impressive, and the friends of the Cardinal were shocked in front of this, invention. Now we go to see the most beautiful part of the garden. The third level of the garden will show you the most big, incredible fountain. And I remind you, everything is natural. We don't have any pump to lift up the jets of water. See, here you can see a canal of the water that is testify what I was telling you, that all the fountains are connected with each other. So still like original. The garden, to tell you the truth, 500 years ago didn't look like today, because it was a typical Italian garden. It means that there were no centuries-old trees like this one, okay? Only little trees, and then the edges were cut very short, creating perfect geometrical drawings. The symmetry was the most important thing in a garden of the Renaissance. Got to show the supremacy of the humanity, the mankind, the respect to the wild nature, always thanks to God, of course. Careful. And now get ready for the wonder that got to surprise us, because after the Renaissance, don't forget, came the Baroque, and the Baroque changed everything. Now the most important thing is to create a surprise, and tell me if this is not a big, big surprise. Look to the right. This is the Neptune fountain with the 3 fish ponds, very deep. Each fish pond is 12 feet deep. The friends of the Cardinal had fun fishing here. And at the end, the beautiful Neptune garden, and above the Neptune garden, the fountain of the hydraulic organ. There is another musical fountain. Music, art, paintings, statues, all the beauty of the world in one place. And then the cool of the air. If you could be here with us, I tell you it's a spectacle. What do you think, Alex?
Absolutely stunning.
So,
Really cooling as well. The wind
yeah,
is fantastic.
and you want to see the view? The view is also fantastic, because the Cardinal that didn't become Pope, even if he tried about 5 times, got the terrace of his garden right in front to Rome. In the skyline, if you pay attention, I don't know if you're able to see with the the camera, but we can see very well the Dome of St. Peter, the Vatican right in front of our eyes. His wish, his desire that he was never able to reach, right in front of the garden. And then a beautiful view. If you look just under us, you can see a vineyard. Nothing to do with the wine, okay? But this vineyard is about Pizzutello, the grapes of Tivoli. It's an oval shape in a grape, very tasteful and crunchy and sweet. So if you come back in September, I promise to let you test these amazing grapes. It seems that the Cardinal Ippolito was the one that imported these special grapes directly from France. And if you look to the right, you can see the ancient gate to the right from 1100. There was part of the city walls of Tivoli in the Dark Ages. Part of the city walls were englobed in the terrace of Villa d'Este by Piero Ligorio, the architect. But the street that you can see, used to be the only entrance in Tivoli for centuries and centuries. And now let's have a look of the garden, the real garden with the beautiful trees. And now you're going to see something that probably you don't expect in Italy, in a little town not too far away from Rome. We are about 20 miles northeast of Rome. We got the beautiful evergreen oaks, we got pine trees, umbrella pines, we got cypresses, but even sequoia. look in front of you. We got two beautiful redwoods from California. How happened, that two redwoods are here? They are not from the times of the Cardinal d'Este for sure, but later on, when the family extinguished, the Habsburg family became the owner of this place, the ones from Austria, because the last heiress of the family d'Este at the end of the 1700s, Maria Beatrice d'Este, married an Habsburg. They were too far away, so they practically abandoned the villa. Before they sacked the villa, the statues, the paintings, everything. But the villa fell in decline, in decadence, till a German cardinal, rent the villa from the Habsburg. We are in 1800, okay? Second half of 1800, the Cardinal von Hohenlohe rent the villa. At that point, it was on fashion to have, exotic plants in your garden, and he planted a couple of sequoias. Interesting to know that that was a kind of second life for Villa d'Este. Originally, at the time of the Cardinal d'Este, this was really a meeting point for the artists, the poets, the musicians from all around Europe. Then, after a long break with the German cardinal, we went back to this beautiful, function of the garden as I told you, a meeting point of artists. And one of the artists that came here practically every year for about 20 years was Franz Liszt. Franz Liszt was in love with this garden that inspired him, his musics. When he died, like the biographer wrote that if you look for the tomb of Liszt, you got to go in Germany. But if you look for his musical art, you got to go in the garden of Villa d'Este because it's here. Let's have a look of the garden. It's a kind of labyrinth. You want a baby sequoia for your garden? I love sequoias, they're beautiful. Now, the Cardinal d'Este use the garden, to relax, to enjoy life, literally. And the friends love to come here because, like always, when you live in a big town, you really need to go to escape once in a while, just like was for Hadrian, in the 2nd century, had been for the Cardinal d'Este about 1400 years later. Probably the things never change. And now get ready for the next surprise. We're going to turn the corner here on the left, and we're going to see another fountain. This one is really interesting. Second reason, yeah. Why the cardinal didn't become pope. Yeah. This is the goddess of fertility, the Mother Nature, Diana from Ephesus. The temple in Ephesus dedicated to this goddess was one of the 7 wonders of the world. But if you go to Ephesus, you can see the original statue. This is a copy made in 1500s. In the original statues, as symbols of fertility, you don't have actually the boobs, like you can see here, but bull's testicles, because the bull was the animal sacrificed to her. But this got to be a fountain, so they made a little change. Interesting to note is also the rock that decorate the fountain. This is a natural stone. We named this Tartaro. It's a kind of limestone, a sedimentary rock, that you can find in the places where, for like thousands of years, the water flow. Okay, this kind of material was also loved by the ancient Romans to, decorate their gardens and the fountains. So it's something that in the 1500s they took, from the ancient Roman times. And now we're gonna see also the original entrance at the garden, because if you remember, I was telling you that the original entrance was from the garden. So imagine these people arriving with the horses, the chariots, and finally entering in the garden. So now we're going to have the same experience. You got to use your imagination, of course. We are very, very close. We got to look on our left. Okay, so immediately to the left. And here is the gate. This was the entrance. Imagine a very narrow street, okay? And then this gate opened, and you entered. And then look at what you could see. Of course, remember, no centuries-old trees, so you got to cancel them. The facade of the palace was completely visible. The edges were very short, so even if it was the first time that you came to visit the Cardinal, you know, immediately you could understand its importance. To be the owner of a beautiful garden like this was a status symbol. It showed you to the rest of the society who you were. The trees here are cypress trees. Some of them are pretty young. Some of them doesn't feel very good. But in particular, you're going to see a very old cypress tree, about 600 years old tree. It's the only plant that survived from the times of the Cardinal. And I tell you, it looks like a monument itself. Seems that if you give like a caress to this tree, it's going to take you good luck. Now please, to the right. And look at the ancient cypresses and what the nature is able to create. So it's him. We call him the old guy of Villa d'Este. And I give a caress because I'm very superstitious like all Italians. Good luck. Give me the numbers for the Superenalotto. I'm broke. And now I take you nearby the big fountain. But before, stop a second. You got to know, when the Cardinal d'Este came to Tivoli in 1550, the architect had to demolish part of the city to create this garden. So where now is the garden, you got to imagine, you know, really a district of this town. If you look right in front of us, you can see old buildings. These are from the Dark Ages, and they survived. They are the first houses not demolished, you know, to have the space for the garden. So they were like 2 times lucky because were saved from the demolition, and now they got this view, fantastic, on the garden. Now they look very old from outside, but I tell you, most of them inside are completely restored, and they are really beautiful and expensive apartments.
Yeah, I was about to ask what they're like inside.
And they are absolutely beautiful, beautiful. And they look very small, but sometimes an apartment it takes like 4 buildings. There are arches, like staircases, you know, so it's pretty cool. And new sequoia. And now, unfortunately, you can't, but we can feel the cool that comes from the big fountain. They didn't have the air conditioning, but they were really good to organize themselves. So these fountains are beautiful, but they got a function to cool the air. And I tell you, even if you come in the full summer, it's always nice and cool. The fountain of the eagle, symbol of the family d'Este, and then the big one. If you look, there's a rainbow. The villa and the fountains are made in a certain way, so during the day, when you got the sun, you got always rainbows here. Now it's there. Oh, nice. The fountain of Neptune takes the name by the bust of the god of the ocean, Neptune, just behind the waterfall, in the center. Did you see the rainbow?
I can see the rainbow.
It's pretty, yeah? Oh, wow. Let's have a look also in the back. The fish ponds from the other side. So the place is available from weddings. No, literally. They organize weddings here. Yes.
Oh.
Lots of people come to marry here. It's very exclusive and beautiful. To go up, qua, to the right. Now we take a ramp that takes us nearby the big jets of water to have the view from the opposite side. This is a very gentle ramp, so it's not heavy to walk. And I'm gonna show you now my favorite apartment in Tivoli. But the people that lives there, they're never gonna, you know, sell this apartment, unfortunately. Okay, look up there. See the little arch up there? That is a private apartment, the old building. They got this beautiful garden on the big garden. So give me a glass of wine and a sunset. Huh? What do you think? That's life. Let's have a look a little bit closer. They got a pomegranate tree, roses, grapes. Beautiful. Look, it's so pretty. Okay. On the opposite side here, you got the most beautiful part of the old town. If you ever come to Tivoli, you can enjoy the villas for sure, but don't forget the city because it's very, very beautiful. Now, scusa. From the top here, you got an amazing view that I want to show you. You can hear probably the noise of the water. And we go up. Yeah, we made it. Look how cool. See, if you look up there, you can see the hydraulic organ fountain. That is a musical fountain. Inside is an hydraulic organ, and if you come to Tivoli, I promise we take you to hear the hydraulic organ playing for you. Okay, so this is all. Thank you for enjoying us, and we wait for you in Tivoli when you like, when you can, and when you want. Bye bye, guys.